The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Welcome to this week's Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And man, do we have a fun show for you guys today. We got a lot of catching up to do. That is definitely not an understatement. We have, a lot of coverage. We had just about everything in action. We got a bunch of off-road action coming at you. We got Bark River this weekend. We got Crandon coming up the end of the month. We got the big bad Vegas to Reno upon us in a week. I will be out there racing that event as well. So, man, we got a lot of racing action. NASCAR was on road courses. We had Formula One going on, NHRA, IndyCar. I mean, you name it, and we have something to talk about. And John Force, we just talked about him on this show. Yes, he got win number 150. Yes, John Force, the living legend, win number 150. So we're going to dissect that as well. I don't know, man. We got some big news coming out of Supercross that we got to get into regarding 2020. I don't know. This is going to be a wild show today. I know we've got Tiffany Stone. She's calling in. Yeah, we had ARX going on. We got Stage Rally coming up. Man, this is just bananas. But, yeah, Tiffany Stone's going to call in with a rally and off-road report. We got Chris Leone. He is going to be dialing in with power rankings. And what else do we got? Oh, yes, my good friend Evan Schendel with Polaris RZR Marketing. He's going to be on. We're going to be talking about the brand new Pro XP line from Polaris RZR. I know we talked about it a little bit last week. Well, this week, yes, we got the man at Polaris to tell us all about these amazing machines. So we're going to be talking a lot of UTVs. And, I'm probably going to be previewing Bark River a little bit as well. So Slam Pack Show, I would love to hear from you guys. Tweet me at Jim Beaver 15 if you haven't already. That's the way you'll get your questions answered. You can also DM me on Instagram. They might be delayed by a week, or on Facebook. But, yes, please, I'd love to hear from you fans. Hit me up. It is at Jim Beaver 15 on social media, and we'll definitely try and get those questions answered in the show. Faux show. So, yes, we are going to take a short break. We come back. We are firing, man. We are swinging for the fences right here on this week's Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Oh man, that was a hell of a ride. Go check out mymedic.com for the best first aid kits on the planet and save 15% with discount code Jim Beaver. Again, mymedic.com, discount code Jim Beaver, and save 15%. It's cheaper than a feeling.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, locked and loaded. I guess I get to do my, opening monologue, so to speak. I don't know, I'm feeling like really, really good this week. I don't know why, I don't know what the deal is, but man, I am pumped. Mainly because it is like almost race week for me. I got my Polaris RZR that we're going to have shredding out there at Vegas to Reno, but I do have to say I got a complete, like, horrible start on this thing. Literally, there's 62 entries, and they have a draw, right, where random, throw your name in a hat, draw it out, right? I drew 60th out of 62, like all the way in the back of the pack. Like, it doesn't get any worse than that. Like, well, I guess it does if you're 62nd, but like, I'm trying to figure out our strategy for this one. Like, seriously, man, I am, I don't know what. I don't know what the strategy is going to be. I guess run clean and hopefully a bunch of people break down. I don't know, but to battle through that kind of traffic and stuff, we're going to have our work cut out for us, that's for sure. I think it's one of those, you got to run a clean race. No problems, no issues, just run a clean race, and it's going to come back to you the second half of the race. I think that's the game plan. But, yes, Vegas to Reno is next week. Before that, though, I get to go to the big bad event called Bark River, because I will be hosting their live stream and doing the live event PA. So if you're in the UP, if you're up there in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, make sure and go to Bark River this weekend, because you're going to get to witness some amazing off-road racing. But if you're not, if you're at home, I know we'll be live streaming on my website. I think we're going to take the feed from Bark River. I think it'll be on their Facebook page, probably their website as well. We'll be a full live stream, so be tuned into my social channels. We'll get you all that info as we get closer. We'll be live streaming, me and my boy Brent Smith. And it looks like we've got Haley Shanley, I think, as well, going to be doing the pit reporting. But it'll be Saturday and Sunday this weekend. We'll be live streaming. I believe that's the 10th and the 11th. So make sure to tune into the live stream. Be fun to have you guys there. Tune in. That's one of those iconic venues. You know, you got Crandon, you got Bark River. I guess Bark River's kind of the younger sibling to Crandon. It's been there, almost as long as Crandon, but it's only about 90-minute drive away. And it's just one of those iconic Midwest venues, and I absolutely love going up there. It is always a blast. So looking forward to being up there this weekend. Hopefully I'll see some of my Midwest listeners and fans. Make sure and hit me up if you are out there. Would love to hang out with you. Who knows? Maybe even have a beer after the races are done. That is definitely a fun venue. And then I roll right into Vegas to Reno. Then we got Crandon the end of the month, and I know I'm talking all off-road to kick this thing off, but man, it is a stacked month for you off-road fans like me. We got Crandon. I know they announced Kid Rock in concert. Like, how rad is that? Sounds like we're gonna have racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now it sounds like they may even run a few races on Thursday night. Crandon, like, this is the 50th. I know Rob Mack finally have formally announced he's going, but I literally think everybody from the West Coast is making the trip out there. If you're not, you're figuring out a way to get out there. That is going to be absolutely bananas. I know Polaris RZR now title sponsoring that one, so definitely looking forward to what's to come there. So it's just a big week for all things off-road, a big month. I know, not only that, but, Four Wheel Parts, our good friends at Four Wheel Parts, they have a big promotion going on starting this weekend. I know it's their annual summer blowout, basically, and it is definitely going to be a big one. So they've got their Four Wheel Parts Endless Summer Sale. It's happening only this weekend, August 10th, one day only, and it's at all 92 Four Wheel Parts stores nationwide. You're going to spend more, and you're going to save more. For every $1,000 you spend, you'll get $100 back. So, yeah, spend $1,000. It's really only like spending $900. Going to have vehicles on display, fun for the whole family. All the athletes are going to be on site at various different Four Wheel Parts, race vehicles. They got doorbuster specials, giveaways happening all day long. And if you can't make it to store, don't worry. You can shop online at FordWP.com. Get the same type of deals there. I know Sarah Price, the Romos. I've been looking at social media, man. They've everybody's going to be at a store. I wish I was. I will be out of Bark River holding it down there, or I probably would have went to one of the Phoenix stores and made an appearance. So kind of bummed on that. We'll have to make it up at some point. But yes, Four Wheel Parts got the big stuff throwing down, faux show. So, so you got all that going on, and then, we got some big Supercross news being broke. Adam Cianciarulo, we've seen him have a dominating effort so far this year. He got the call-up. That is right. Starting in 2020, Adam Cianciarulo is signed with Kawasaki to run in the 450 class. So Cianciarulo making the jump to the 450s in 2020. I know Chris and I have talked about this. I've talked about it endlessly on the show. Win. Is Cianciarulo going to make the jump? Obviously, he's got the talent. I feel like he's got the body, the frame to finally go and compete in 450s. I mean, we've been watching this kid who's a prodigy since he was just a skinny little guy, at 18 years old, and now he's kind of filled out. The wins are there. I think now that the muscles come there, the injuries have become less and less, and I am very, very excited to see what Adam Cianciarulo now does, on a Supercross bike in the 450 division. I mean, we've seen him absolutely own the 250 division as of late, and I am definitely looking forward to seeing where Adam Cianciarulo goes, on a 450. Obviously we know where he's going. That's to Cowie, but how he does once he gets there. I think that's some exciting news coming out of Supercross, and you think about that. Look at what Cowie's got going into next year. I mean, they got Cianciarulo on one bike, and they've got Eli Tomac on another. I mean, Tomac and Cianciarulo, you want to talk about a couple of heavy hitters there? I mean, Cowie is coming out swinging. I mean, you got Red Bull KTM, you got Cowie, we got, the factory teams, they are loaded up with talent. And, we've said it before, these years past where it was one guy and just went and dominated and won like 80% of the races, I think that is long gone, which is a very, very good thing for the sport of Supercross, man. But I am very excited about that. And we have so much to talk about. We had X Games this past weekend. I know I'm going to dissect that on Project Action this week. But we had X Games going down there in Minneapolis, and just an amazing X Games. I do have to give a shout out. We don't talk a lot of action sports on the show, but Mitchie Brusco, man, a 1260. And the thing that throws me for a loop on that, so everybody remembers where they were at when Tony Hawk did the 900. Primetime TV, everybody was locked in. They remember. Like, it was probably the most iconic moment in all of action sports. Tony Hawk's 900, probably one of the most defining moments. I mean, everybody talked about it for years, right? I mean, the next week, it's all anybody talked about. What do they call it? Water cooler talk? We don't have that in Arizona, but it was one of those, like, everybody knows it was a defining moment, right? Mitchie Brusco does a 1260, first one ever, and it was like crickets. Like, I'm like, what? Like, how does that work? How do you do a 1260 and, like, nobody's talking about it now? It's just weird the way action sports have morphed. Got to give it a shout out to my boy Ronnie Renner, though. getting another bronze medal. Renner, he is still in it. You know, the minute you think, Renner may have lost his step and he's going to have to retire, nope, Renner pulls the medal out. And I hope that means we see my boy Ronnie Renner back and my Polaris RZR teammate back for many, many years to come. Renner is just, dude is timeless, seriously. Where he pulls his stuff and how he does things, like he'll hit the bar and you'll be like, oh man, he's got like 3 feet, he's out. And then all of a sudden Renner cleared the bar and step up. You're like, whoa, where'd this come from? You know, I mean, we're going to get into to more X Games talk. I mean, we saw, backflip varial 360s and best trick on an FMX, like just absolutely crazy stuff going on. And shoot, my iRacing, my esports team was in competition this week as well. So I don't know, maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about for sure this week. But before we get to that, I do have to say, if you want to race online from the comfort of your own home against competitors from all around the world, iRacing brings you competition in NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World Outlaws, Rallycross, and now the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. You can take on the top ovals, road courses, and dirt tracks in the world, from Daytona to Nürburgring to the Chili Bowl. Compete with iRacers from around the globe, from pickup and play leagues to world championships. And if you use the promo code PR/Jim Beaver, it's going to get you 50% off a new subscription for 3 months at iRacing.com/membership. Don't forget, it's PR/Jim Beaver, 50% off. Sim racing is iRacing, and we'll see you on the track. And with that, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to have Evan Schendel with RZR right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, and I'd like to welcome my good friend and with Polaris RZR, I guess one of my bosses, so to speak, but Evan Schendel with Polaris RZR, man. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
I am not your boss, first and foremost. Man, thanks, Jim. Thank you for having me back, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, it's been a while, and reason being is Polaris decided this year that Christmas was supposed to happen in July, and last week Christmas did happen in July, man, and we got this brand new Pro XP line of RZRs, and I know the UTV community has just been like on fire since this thing released. You've read all the comments that I've read, and I mean, people are stoked, man, but we've got a lot to talk about with this new unit, and anybody that's a fan of the RZR brand or UTVs in general, man, they got to be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, I can't even describe to you our excitement level. Like, the stoke level broke on this one. We've been so excited for the past year plus to release what is, I think, kind of surprising to most people, not a replacement in our lineup, but actually a new class of performance at the top of the lineup. This is the new top dog.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing I will say about Polaris before we get into this, but Polaris has been one of those because we've seen, like, you know, and it goes back to the, you know, Ranger and then the first ever RZR. You know, it's like Polaris keeps expanding because there's so many people now coming into the side-by-side industry. It's like you guys want to be the company that offers something for everyone, whether you're the high-end consumer that wants, you know what I mean, you know, all the horsepower and all the wheel travel, or you're down to somebody that just wants something to go, you know, hit the trails and maybe go out hunting with. Like Polaris, they want to offer something for everybody. So you guys have so many different arrays and so many different SKUs. And like, to me, that's really important. And that's what's built this entire RZR community, is because, regardless of what you want to get out of your side-by-side, RZR has something for you.
Oh, 100%. And that's been our goal from day one. I mean, as RZR and as Polaris off-road as a whole, we're the leader in every single segment and by a long shot. And so to continue to do that, we want to have something for every single person out there. We ourselves have in the company people who do every single different thing out there as well. So we have the passion for it. We want to continue to push on all of those fronts. And that's what's so exciting about this machine is this is a new territory that we're going into, and what a machine to come out with to do it in.
Yeah, well, and talking about that, I guess the first thing we should chime in and talk about was what everybody was kind of expecting, but I mean, a massive jump in horsepower. We got 181 horsepower, Evan. You and I, let's be honest, the RZR we've been accustomed to, the turbo model, that thing's ridiculously fast as it is. Now let's just up the ante just a little bit,
Oh, absolutely. The power up on this machine is insane. And the coolest part about it, which is it's not as cool as just saying 181, is the tuning that went into this new power. So we know from the past that people love that torquey, low-end grunt that RZR has really been known for, and we tuned the new power for what we're calling the 20 to 50 mile an hour range. So when you're actually riding, say throttling out of a corner or maybe feathering throttle through the whoops, where you really need that power to come through for you, throttling out of a surprising event, that's what the power was tuned for. And the power band was perfectly paired with our new clutch to really deliver immediate impact when you hit the gas.
Well, and I think what you said there was key is a lot of brands and a lot of companies, they'll go and throw horsepower and they want that shock value, that number. But Polaris, you guys took the strategic, I guess it was calculated where we're going to add 181 horsepower. We're going to make 181 horsepower, but we're going to go and we're going to up the ante with the clutching. We're going to double the belt life. We're going to upgrade the transmission, the drivetrain. The axles are stronger now. It wasn't like you went and added horsepower because, with the additional horsepower, now there's going to be a bigger load on everything else. So Polaris, went back to the beginning, and you're like, all right, so let's upgrade everything else because we want the car to be able to handle this horsepower.
Yeah, and what I'll tell you too, you talk about other companies, and some of them have some awesome horsepower too. At first glance, and frankly, horsepower is horsepower. It's always fun, so I don't want to knock anything. But RZR is not about going from 0 to 60 miles an hour over and over, and that's it. We want our entire riding experience, like I said, cornering, whoops, feathering on a climb in a crawl scenario. Every single aspect we want to be perfect. And that 20 to 50 mile an hour range is when you're really using the power the most. And what I would say, what's cooler than horsepower is going really freaking fast. And what we've built with this Pro XP is not just horsepower, but an entirely new platform where if you think about going fast, just from being in trucks and racing trophy trucks, it's not just horsepower. There is 1,000 variables that allow you to go fast, and a big part of that is just not having to slow down. And that's what this car is so insane. We have a test track up in northern Minnesota that our engineers always use, and they just blitz this thing. And out of all of our competitors, all of our current machines, both 2 and 4C current machines, this is the fastest vehicle around that test track. And we're pretty happy about that for a 64-inch machine.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because I talk with Andy Ives, who, he's one of the unique guys who he actually is an engineer at Polaris, and then he races on the weekend. And I've raced against Andy quite a few times. We've got to be really close friends. And he and I were talking kind of confidentially up at Reno because we knew what was coming the following day when he was racing the short course event up there. And he had the opportunity to drive one, and he just smiled. He's like, Jimmy, just wait. He's like, this thing is just ridiculous. And you've got an engineer just smiling who races. So he's been in some of the best, fastest, UTVs you can imagine, and he's just all grin. wins. You know what I mean? And I went, oh, this is going to be something special, you know? But like you said, this thing is tailor-made. I mean, you've got, you know, I know this thing's brought back, obviously, the dynamic suspension, the 2.0 version of the dynamic suspension. And I was actually able to test those things pre-release when it originally, you know, dropped for Polaris. And that suspension was a game changer then. And it just continues to up the ante with suspension on UTVs. Yeah,
we're so excited about Dynamics 2.0 and just the technology in general. You know, we were first to the industry by far. It was like the first time UTVs in general have beaten automotive to a technology, as you saw the Raptor actually followed RZR about a year later with that technology with Fox. And now you've seen like Honda come into the space with their own offering from Fox, kind of utilizing the same technology. And so what better time for us to push it even further? And what's so cool about Dynamics 2.0 is that it's just all about usability and the driver, which is really what the whole machine is about. But having the mode switches on the steering wheel with buttons and having what we're calling, I don't know if you've seen the launch video, but the O bleep button, the official X button, the big red button for unexpected high-speed events, and you just push that thing, sends the whole system to full firm. You don't even have to brake, and you can just throttle through big G-outs or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and how rad is that to have, you know, I mean, to me, that's crazy that you guys would put a button like that in. Not crazy, like, who would think of that? You know what I mean? Like, that's, to me, that's like, oh, we're going to be in trouble. And a lot of people panic. Now it's like you push that button on the steering wheel, and it's going to give you the best possible opportunity to get through the situation. And I got to say, there's not a lot of companies who would even think about putting that into a unit, you know, and Polaris here, you guys went and dropped it. And like you said, it is funny because it's big, you know, bright red. It's like you can't even miss it, you know, and I think that's amazing. And just, you know, and that's the thing about this. I mean, people on the outside see the changes in the way it looks. They see the horsepower numbers. But, I mean, as you and I were talking off air, there's so many things that goes into this, Evan. Like, I mean, it's for big guys like you and I, they've made it a little bit wider, a little bit, you know, the cabin compartment's a little bit different. You know, it's a little bit bigger for guys like us. I mean, you know, you guys have embraced the aftermarket with accessories and being able to add you know, electronics and things like that. Like, to me, there's every single bit of this UTV or this new RZR. I mean, you guys put thought into it.
Oh my gosh. I'll go back to the cockpit changes for a second, because this is just amazing. 4 inches wider cockpit. That's, you know, shoulder to shoulder. That's that much more room with your buddy next to you or your wife next to you, whoever it might be. And for someone like me, who is like a giraffe, 6'5", having half a foot more leg room is like
huge.
Just the best thing that's ever happened to side-by-sides. You know, the seating position's a little bit lower in the vehicle, which feels so nice. You're not as high above the roll center, so you actually feel so in tune with the vehicle as it's kind of moving around you. We like to say you feel like you're in the vehicle versus on the vehicle in the past. But having my legs, you know, stretched out, just perfect fitment, the telescoping wheel, which, you know, is a home run in this vehicle, having infinite adjustability. I can have the steering wheel all the way out to me. It feels so good. And then still maintaining the same sight lines that everybody who drives a RZR loves. Having that vision, yet somehow still being lower in the vehicle, man, our engineers honestly knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, well, and I feel like this is one of those whole, like, infomercials where, and there's more. But honestly, when this thing dropped, like, I'm looking at the price point, and I think a lot of people are like, you know, they're watching these drop videos and going, oh, yeah, this is great. And then we're never going to be able to afford this. And then, like, no joke, I look at the price and I'm like, man, this thing is right in line. Like, there's not a big price jump, you know what I mean, to go from an XP 1000 or an XP Turbo into one of these. You know, you guys kept it realistic for consumers to actually want this and then be able to go out and purchase this. And before we let Evan answer that question, we're going to take a short break right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP Pro 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with a Down and Dirty radio show since 2012. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver with my good friend from Polaris RZR Marketing, Evan Schendel, on the line here. We are talking the brand new lineup of RZR Pro XPs. And, just as we headed into the break, Evan, we were talking, I was talking about, kind of the different arrays. And you were, you're getting ready to chime in on the price point because I think right now, what we're seeing with these, I think everybody thought, numbers were going to be crazy high. I'm never going to be able to afford this. But, man, I got to tell you, it's just the complete opposite, man. Tell us about this crazy good price point on these things.
Yeah, that's under the radar. That's probably one of the coolest things about this machine. I mean, if you want to compare it to a current lineup vehicle, some people have been saying this is kind of the new 64-inch turbo, which as of this last model year, you could buy for $29,999. What's cool about this vehicle is we have 3 different trim variants, kind of like you would see in the automotive industry. You can kind of pick which trim you want to buy into. So there's the standard Pro XP, which is only $2,000 more than today's current turbo, which as far as like jumps have gone in the past is very reasonable. And then you can go up to the premium model, which has some really cool aesthetics and performance upgrades, or all the way up to the ultimate model, which has even more performance and aesthetics added to it. And even for the first time, Jim, we partnered with Rockford Fosgate for the best integrated audio system that you've ever seen in a UTV. I mean, it's literally aftermarket, but from the factory. It's unbelievable.
Well, and that's one thing. I know that's one of the biggest upgrades a lot of people do, especially if anybody that's been to the dunes or Glamis or things like that, they immediately, you got to have tunes in your RZR, right? And the way you guys have approached this, I mean, honestly, and I mean this in the best possible way, you can't even really tell the sound system is there. You know, it's not like you've got these massive speakers hanging out the back or anything. Everything's nice and integrated, you know, and it's really sleek looking, but yet, you know, people, especially now with the ride command system there and everything else, like it's there, but it's almost, you know, to me where Polaris is going, like I look at this and I mean, it's like a lot of cues from the automotive industry, and I mean that in the best possible way, but I mean, just the sleekness of the dash and the way the stereo is. I mean, this thing it looks like a car, Evan, you know, and I mean that, you know, very positively. Like the RZR's come a long ways, my friend.
Yeah, if you sit in the 2008 Ranger RZR, the very first, or you know, even an XP 1000 from last year, even the Turbo S, which we added so many things, you know, almost automotive grade to on the inside, and now you compare it to, you know, the Rockford Fosgate, which you can barely even see, yet there's 2 tweeters, 2 speakers. If you get the sub that integrates, it's just like, it's invisible, but obviously so loud, so nicely tuned by Rockford for the car. The infotainment screen, even the shifter, Jim, is like upgrade. I mean, it's still just a shifter, but it looks beautiful in the vehicle. The illuminated switches, like every part of the interior, kind of like you were saying, and the wheel and the button controls, it's like you're in an exotic sports car, except you can go 85 miles an hour off-road through 4-foot whoops. It's just like the biggest mind bender you've ever had.
Yeah, well, and I know this is obviously this is, you know, taking some cues from the Turbo S where it's got 4-point harnesses, but I think more importantly, you know, one of the biggest upgrades people do right out of the box on a RZR has been to replace the seats. Well, now RZR's gone back to the drawing board with the seats, and I mean, these are ones people are actually going to want to keep in the unit and not replace because, you know, Polaris really upped the game with the seating coming right from the factory this go around.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's 6-point harnesses in the Premium and the Ultimate, which are now retractable, which is really cool. But yeah, the seats, you know, we read social, right? We've heard from plenty of people, you know, change your seats. You know, we've seen that over the years. These new seats are incredible. They have airflow channels, the foam, just, you know, the bolstering and the you know, the cushioning. I don't know if it's foam, that's an engineering thing, but it holds you perfectly. And it holds any body shape, tall, short, you know, whatever it might be. Those seats I'll be surprised to see people change those. You know, some people will, you know, just to have their preferred, you know, seat, or if they're in, you know, a racer, they have to go to composite seat. But man, they're the most comfortable seats all day long. You don't know they're there, and that's honestly what you want from a seat.
Yeah, well, and, you know, all that being said, obviously we've got this new Pro XP going down, and I'm looking and going, you know, if that wasn't a way to start off the month, or I guess the end of July, I mean, we're rolling right into things. I mean, we got Vegas to Reno coming up. We've got Crandon, which I know Polaris has become a big part of as a title sponsor. Crandon coming up over Labor Day weekend, which is one of the biggest off-road events of the year, man. This is, you guys are pinned there on the marketing side of things.
Yeah, I mean, when you launch a vehicle like this, there's no holding back. And, you know, last weekend in Jericho, we already had the first demo stop for these vehicles, and some very select happy people got to see these in person already and test them out. Heard some amazing things from that. We'll be in the Midwest. We'll be at Crandon 100%. We'll be at Paragon this year in Brimstone. We'll have them out in the West at Camp RZR, of course. So, somewhere near you, there will be a brand new Pro XP that you can go test ride and get the feeling for yourself at game speed.
Yeah, well, and I think another thing we ought to mention too is you know, these things are available right now, right? I mean, I know we've got the Ultimate, I believe, or no, what is the Pro XP is coming in January 2020, but a lot of them are available, you know, right now at dealer showrooms, or at least for order, correct?
Yes, the standard Pro XP will be out this coming January shipping, and both the Premium and the Ultimate trims, the top dogs, are available in the next 3 weeks in dealerships. So if you start heading out around that time, you can go see one of these for yourself in person, sit in it, see the interior, and just take in this brand new machine, Jim.
Yeah. Well, just right in time for ride season, right?
Oh, this is in time for season. Yes, that's what we're going for every year.
Yeah, well, and I know the big question is, because anytime you launch a new unit, a lot of people with families and stuff like that, they immediately want to go, well, I love the 2-seat. I'm in. Sell me a 4-seat. I believe the 4-seat is coming at some point, correct?
Now, I don't know what would lead you to believe that. Maybe it was pictures on social media that may have gone out. No, I can't comment, of course, officially. But if you look at the past and how we've launched vehicles, I'm sure you can do the math on, what's possible in the future. And frankly, we haven't been turning away from saying this is a new class of performance. And not just that, but this vehicle is the start of a new class of performance. So imagine what's possible with a brand new platform from RZR. I think we probably won't just make one.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is you mentioned that, what's next, or, and you kind of lead that, and I go, man, like, as a RZR guy like me, it was like a year and a half ago, it was the RS1, and then we had the Turbo S, and then then the Turbo S 4-seat. Now we've got this whole new Pro XP thing. Before all of those was the Dynamics. I'm like, man, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like every 6 months you guys are throwing me something to get excited about, man.
Hey, people, there's always something that we can do to push it even further, and everyone's asking for the next thing all the time. We're working as hard as we possibly can to engineer the heck out of these machines, test these machines, market these machines, and, we're going to keep making them as long as people keep riding RZRs, and I don't think that's going away.
I don't think that's going away anytime soon. So I guess, I'll be out at Vegas to Reno, but I believe I'll probably see you next. You're going to be, on site there at Crandon, man?
Yeah, I'll be there at Crandon. We've got Sand Sports Show coming up in the not-too-distant future. We've got Camp RZR coming up. Unofficially, we do not have dates yet, but if you're familiar with the time of year that it's usually at, be prepared.
Yeah, generally right around Halloween-ish time. So I'll throw that out there for the West Coast people. Probably bank on it being somewhere towards the end of October, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Evan, man, it is always fun catching up, my friend. I am just absolutely stoked on this new Pro XP line of vehicles. I can't wait to get behind the wheel of one of these things and just absolutely shred this thing out here in the desert in Parker. But thanks for calling in, my friend, and thank you for the continued support of the show.
Oh, absolutely, Jim. And thank you to every single person who's listening to this show as well. Honestly, we are so excited for this new machine, and I just hope that anyone who's out there, if you have a chance to go sit, let alone ride in one of these machines, go do it. We would absolutely love to have every single person on the planet in this brand new vehicle. It is something else.
Yeah. Well, and like you had said, man, the way you guys roll these things out, people can actually go and, see it, feel it, drive it, and I think you're one of the few manufacturers that actually has embraced the community. Like, hey, we're going to go out, we're going to do ride and drives. We're going to let you put these, drive these. And it's not just drive them. That's one thing. I've actually been on a ride and drives on purpose, just to see what the customer experiences, and I feel like, me as kind of a spokesman for the brand, I need to be able to do that. And I've gone on these, and like the ones out at Glamis and things, Evan, like, you're letting people unleash on these things. It's not like you're holding back going, oh, you guys got to keep it at 15, 20 miles an hour on this little track, It's like you're like, no, go out, have fun, experience RZR. And I think that's one thing that's really special about the RZR brand, and I don't see other brands doing, is you're putting people behind the wheel of these things in performance situations so they can really feel and see what they're going to be purchasing.
Yeah, you're in the dunes. You're on an Ultra 4 course. You're in Hatfield McCoy or in Brimstone's trail system at a lot of these, at all of our demo events. And I'm not going to quote speeds, but you're going foot to the floor at some points. And so, yeah, that's the whole point of it to us. You got to ride these things to really know what you're getting yourself into, and we want people to have that opportunity, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I'm sure people are going to be lined up, out at these events to get behind the wheel of one. Once again, man, thanks for calling into the show, Evan, and we'll see you out at Crandon, my friend.
Thank you so much, Jim. I'll see you then, buddy.
Definitely going to see Evan out there at Crandon. Much appreciated for him. I know, everybody at Polaris RZR, especially right now with the dealer show just getting done, launching this brand new Pro XP lineup. I know everybody at Polaris RZR is slammed. So much appreciated, Evan, for taking the time to come on the show this week. And, Pro XP, we talked about it last week. Now, I'm stoked to finally have somebody from corporate here on the show to kind of explain and talk about this really unique machine, and I think, let's face it, I think a lot of people were expecting Polaris to come out with something like 200 crazy horsepower or something, and I got to appreciate them. As we know in racing and auto racing, and I'm a race car driver, it's not always about horsepower. It's about the total package. And I think whereas some manufacturers have gone and thrown ungodly horsepower numbers at their units, they've completely failed on many, many other things in regards to their unit. Polaris, they continue to up the horsepower, but they make it usable horsepower, and they've got a chassis designed to, use that. And I really feel like Polaris has the total package with this new Pro XP. Absolutely mind-blowing. I know, I have yet to get behind the wheel of one, but it's definitely coming soon, and I can't wait to wheel one of these things and really put it through its paces and be able to come back and tell you listeners, what what I'm seeing and feeling, and it's really, really got me, excited for what's to come, man. It's been a big week for Polaris. Obviously, we're going to see some RZRs in action at Bark River, Vegas to Reno. I'm racing my RZR Turbo, and then end of the month, Polaris RZR at Crandon. That's the big 50th anniversary Cup weekend, and Polaris RZR title sponsoring it. And like Evan said, man, these new units, you can go and drive them if you're out one of these consumer events. Like, how rad is that a company launches a brand new vehicle and they're like, hey, yeah, we're going to allow you guys to go out and drive them and put them through their paces. Not just drive them. I mean, literally, like, shred these things. Like, how rad is that? So I am looking forward to spending some time with my RZR Familia very, very soon, and definitely looking forward to, all things living the RZR life. So, we are going to take a short break and kind of wrap up hour number one. I know we got a Dirtfish Rally Report coming at you here momentarily, and then hour number two, we got Power Rankings with Chris Leone. We got Tiffany Stone on the line, and we got a whole lot more coming at you right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, as we wrap up hour number one here and look forward to hour number two. Hour number two, like we said, we got Power Rankings coming up with Chris Leone, and these are going to be some very interesting and exciting Power Rankings. Also got Tiffany Stone on the line with her off-road report. We've got a Dirtfish Rally report coming at you as well. So lots of good stuff coming at you in the next hour. So hang tight. You don't want to go anywhere. We are just getting fired up. And I got to tell you, next week we got a massive, massive guest right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. I can't tell you quite yet. I am so beyond stoked. This is a bucket list interview for me, and I can't wait to absolutely bring you guys in the loop on that. So, yes, you're going to not want to miss that. You don't want to miss the off-road edition either. Both of this show and that show you can get on iTunes, our RSS feed. It's the same feed. Please go to iTunes, hit the subscribe button. Definitely helps us. iTunes just changed things around, so we're now in, quote, the leisure category, I guess. I don't know how well motorsports is leisure, but whatever. But please help us keep up on the charts. Subscribe over there on iTunes. Leave a rating or review. Also got my other show, Project Action. We just did a big X Games preview. I've had my good friend Brojack on recently. Jason Ellis has been a guest in the past couple of weeks. Please check out the interview or the episode I did with Jonathan Coyle. He and I are talking about starting up a fourth weekly podcast, and it would just be me and him Jim talking all kinds of shenanigans. So I'd love to hear your feedback. Please go and listen to that episode. It's about an hour long with me and my good friend Jonathan Coyle. And let me know what you guys think and see if we should pull the trigger and do a fourth weekly show or not. I would love to hear from you guys and hear what you think about that. So, yeah, please, iTunes, man. I guess I can continue to hit that. But also at Jim Beaver 15 on all forms of social media. Some of you have been tweeting me. We will try and get those questions answered at some point, maybe during our power ranking segment or with Tiffany Stone and I. But yeah, all social media, it's at Jim Beaver 15, and then downanddirtyshow.com. That is your place for all things motorsports, UTVs, desert racing, off-road racing, whatever you got. Yeah, head over there and keep it locked and loaded there on on our website. We've got a lot of fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning into hour number 1. Hour number 2 is going to be coming at you here in a few minutes. Right after this break, we're going to continue to crank, and I need to catch a breather, man, because that was one heck of an hour number 1. So see you here on hour number 2 on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP Pro 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Kicking off hour number 2 right here, and please hang tight. It's going to be one hell of an hour number 2. We got power rankings coming up, as well as Tiffany Stone, and we got a lot to talk about because there was a lot happening in the world of motorsports. And, kicking off hour number 2, we got to roll right into our Dirtfish Rally Report from our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And I've got to say, we've got a new coupon code. So if you've been using the other one, I guess it's no longer good. So if it gets rejected, you're wondering why. It's because we switched it up. Been using that same coupon code for years, and it's been overly saturated and wanted to start fresh. So you want your 15% off, you need to use the coupon code DOWNDIRTYDF. DOWNDIRTYDF, and that will get you 15% off at Dirtfish Rally School. So new code. Thanks to Dirtfish for the continued support here of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. So we had ARX in action at Troy Rivers. ARX of Canada. This is at World Rallycross ARX mashup that they've done in the past, and it's always fun to see, And I got to tell you, the ARX cars, man, lightning, blistering fast, actually faster around the track than the World RX cars. So that was definitely an accomplishment. But we had ARX2 and ARX1 in action. ARX2, aka Lights, and day number 1, it was round 5's double header for the Lights. was Dirtfish's Fraser McConnell taking the victory. Connor Martell in second, Cole Keats third, Gray Ledbetter, Michael Leach, and Lane Vacala rounding out your 6-car main event field. And give a big shout out there to Gray Ledbetter. She'll actually, I think, be in action at Bark River this weekend as well. Then ARX2, day number 2, it was McConnell with the sweep on the weekend. Martell again in second, Cole Keats in third, and Gray Ledbetter, another fourth-place finish. Got to give that young girl a ton of credit. Then moving on to the big boys, it was Tanner Faust with his first victory of the year. It's kind of weird we had to wait 4 rounds deep for Faust, but, ARX has been that solid competition-wise. New winner in all 4 rounds, so Tanner Faust with a win. Cabot Bigham with a sweep there for Andretti Rallycross in the 1-2 spot. Scott Speed rounding out the third spot for Subaru. We had Atco in fourth, Picoy, Arpin, and Schendel rounding out your 7 vehicles in that final. So, that was your results there from Troy Rivers. ARX, they move on to COTA to wrap up the season. And, thank you. That was our Dirtfish Rally Report. Don't forget, it is Down Dirty DF for that 15% off. And we will be back after this right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You don't want to go anywhere. We're just getting fired right up. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And if you can't tell, I am absolutely smiling right now because we get to do power rankings. with Chris Leone, media director for the Down and Dirty Radio Show, just like always. And this was a very, very fun week of motorsports and action motorsports, and I am really excited to get into things. And man, Chris, like I have so many. There was so many cool storylines. Some people didn't make my cut, and this wasn't actually a packed weekend because we didn't have motocross going, we didn't have IndyCar going, we didn't really have any off-road racing going. And honestly, I'm kind of thankful because my list was kind of hard to figure out where people slotted in anyways. I don't know. I'm assuming your list was probably a little bit bananas like mine.
No doubt, Jim. I mean, I had a tough time trying to figure these out. I mean, I feel like the top couple were probably pretty obvious, but yeah, I mean, even right now as I'm thinking, as I'm looking at it, I'm just realizing, oh God, I forgot a pretty important race in there. But yeah, right? You know what? At this point, I am just going to roll with it.
Yeah. Well, you're probably like me. I got one honorable mention, but I think people will understand why he's not on there. But so give me your number 5. We got a lot to talk about today. This is probably going to take up 2 segments. So give me who you've got at number 5, Mr. Chris.
Well, Jim, my previous racing experience is showing, and my 5 years at GRC are showing here, but I'm going to give Austin Cindric number 5. Finally taking that first NASCAR Xfinity victory at Watkins Glen. And Watkins Glen is such a cool track. I mean, I used to go to those, back when they had IndyCar, I used to go to those races with my dad when I was younger, and always loved that track, always loved watching drivers at it. And, you know, I like a lot of other people in NASCAR circles would love to see them run the boot, but even though they don't, pretty much everything stock cars that, you know, everything to do with stock cars that touches Watkins Glen is always pretty exciting. And, you know, for Austin Cindric to get that victory, battling it out with A.J. Allmendinger towards the end, you know, it's been a long time coming. It's a well-deserved victory. You know, Austin's always been, you know, such a talented kid and, you know, really good kid, great head in his shoulders. He's worked really hard to, you know, make the most of the opportunities that he's had. Very versatile, talented driver. I mean, he was always running up front with us in GRC lights back when we had him in the rallycross world. You know, it's cool to see stories like that get rewarded. It's cool to see drivers like that get rewarded. So I've got Austin Cindric at number 5.
Yeah, well, you know, Austin was one of those drivers that I think when he debuted in GRC and stuff like that, I don't know, I think everybody knew, like, this kid, he's something special. Like, he's going to go a long way in his career. And, yeah, no doubt, having him at, number 5 on your list, no arguments there. I'm going to go to IMSA for my number 5, and I'm going to go, I know you've had him on your list a few times. I guess they're going to make the crack on my list. It took him 3 straight victories to get that, but we're going DPI racing with Mazda, 3 straight Chris and IMSA, and I mean, when you talk about DPI, this is the best of the best, and, it's no slouch. I mean, they're going against Acura, Acura, Team Penske. I mean, we're talking about Core Autosport. I mean, we're talking about the biggest and the best in road racing, and for Mazda to take that victory, man, 3 straight, man. I don't think anybody saw this coming.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. I mean, it's always fun for me to watch the DPIs in IMSA, just to see those factory efforts. And I mean, that is the really cool thing about IMSA is you get factory efforts for brands that you don't get factory efforts from anywhere else in North American motorsport. And, Mazda is really one of them. Obviously, they have the road to Indy for quite some time, but, I know it's been a long time coming for those guys to really get to where they are with the prototype program. And it's cool to see talent like that get rewarded. Man, we're jumping all over the place, though, because we've already visited 2 different tracks in the United States with our number 5s, and now I'm heading up to Canada for number 4 with ARX. Tanner Faust finally takes his first victory of the season. I know a lot of things have changed in that world over the past year or so. The Andretti Rallycross program looks quite a bit different than it did last season. Really hasn't dominated. Subaru has been the top car, and that's been a long time coming in and of itself. But, Tanner Faust finally gets that first victory of the season with the with the Andretti Rallycross program, and actually they had a 1-2 sweep, something we really got used to over the past few years, but now actually Cabot Bigham in that second car taking second place. But I'm giving number 4 to Tanner Faust for finally getting that win.
Yeah, and, I will say Tanner was on my honorable mention list, only because we just had such big stuff happen in motorsports this weekend. And I will say Lewis Hamilton, the other one that's on my honorable mention list. And not to say that he or Tanner's efforts are any less than anybody else. I mean, to me, it was just there's so many big things going on this weekend. And Tanner, a good friend of mine, I know he's a friend of yours, Chris. And no doubt, Tanner, great effort, and honestly, with the way that team is structured this year, I think this one probably means a whole lot more to Tanner than some of his victories in the past. I think this one was definitely probably pretty special for him. But I've got to go to NASCAR, Watkins Glen, for my number 4. And, I know we've kind of been reluctant to put NASCAR on our list, kind of like Formula One in a sense, but I got to go with Chase Elliott, who was your winner there at Watkins Glen. One, I score NASCAR road races just a hair higher than ovals just because there's something so unique in NASCAR. And I think, that being said, Watkins Glen's an iconic track. So Watkins Glen is something special to win there. But Chase Elliott, Chris, I mean, he won, but it wasn't just a win. I mean, this guy led 80 of 90 laps, and he won from the pole. This to me was an absolute dominating effort for Chase Elliott. And, for those reasons, and being the fact that it's Watkins Glen, it's a road course, I had to give the nod to Chase Elliott, put him on my list. I mean, and that was an entertaining NASCAR race, I will say. I mean, Jimmy Johnson, I thought he was going to get in a full-on slugfest at one point. I know we got people up in arms over the bushes. NASCAR has become quite WWE for you wrestling fans like me. I mean, it's very entertaining every single week. Let's put it that way.
Definitely, Jim, and no doubt, I'm going to have a lot of fun watching to see if that Bubba Wallace Kyle Busch battle sprouts legs and comes into different into different race weekends. And the thing that's kind of a bummer for me personally, because I love Watkins Glen so much. I mean, obviously, you've got your efforts now in the eNASCAR Peak iRacing Series, and Watkins Glen not on that schedule. Michigan is actually the race of the week this week, and there was Sonoma, and there will be my favorite, the Charlotte Roval, later this year. We don't need to get back into that again. But, God, Watkins Glen is just such a cool course, and I admit I don't have him on my list yet. We'll get to him, Chase Elliott, but I do have him on there. My number 3 is actually do we have time before the break? Can I get one more in there?
Yeah, you get your number 3, and then we'll carry mine after the break. So, yep, you got time.
All right. I am heading out to Pacific Raceways in Washington, and my number 3, Austin Prock. Big weekend for Austin Prock's team, and I'm sure we will both get to that a little later, but Austin Prock, first ever Top Fuel victory. To be the best, you got to beat the best, and takes down Steve Torrence to do it. That is no easy task.
No, and honestly, at this point, there's no easy task in Top Fuel. I mean, and we're not just talking about Torrence. I mean, his dad, Billy, gets factored in there as well, but Antron Brown, Leah Pritchett. I mean, Top Fuel is so ridiculously stacked. I mean, there's an easy bracket. Clay Milliken, and we can go down the list, but I mean, there is not an easy Top Fuel victory, Chris. I mean, and I guess that's what makes what Steve has done this year so special. But I mean, for Austin Prock, he took down Steve, but even to get to Steve in the final round, it's just, to me, it's madness, No
doubt. I mean, it's amazing. If you look at the Top Fuel points with Steve Torrence factored out of it, it's amazingly close. And some of the drivers who are having the best seasons haven't even taken a victory yet. I mean, Antron came in as, I believe, the 3-time defending champion of the Northwest Nationals, and so now it's actually been over a year since he's taken a victory, but he's been incredibly consistent. He's going to be one of the top couple of seeds in the countdown. So just because he hasn't been able to take that first final round victory, because let's be real, Steve-O has made sure that a lot of them have not really been on offer, Antron's been having a phenomenal year. And same with a lot of these guys. They, they have one win. They might not even have a win yet, but, some of them are just having really good seasons. It's just that everything in the win column has really been eaten up.
Yeah, exactly. You talk Brittany Force, Leah Pritchett in that conversation as well. But we got to take a short commercial break, and we come back. We'll have my number 3 right here on Power Rankings on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver and Chris Leone here. We are knee-deep in power rankings. Chris gave his number 3 as Austin Prock taking that big top fuel victory and dethroning Mr. Steve Torrence on the weekend in the final round. And my number 3, well, Chris, it was exactly like you. I had Austin Prock slated there at number 3 for all the reasons you said. And one thing I got to mention about this is he took down Steve Torrence in the final round. But did you see Steve Torrence on social media and after the race? Like, Steve wants to win. We know, Steve, you've interviewed him. I've interviewed him countless times. He's a very good friend of mine. But you want to talk about a guy who is gracious in defeat. He was the first guy to give Prock a hug, a high five, give him a shout out on social media. Like, how rad is that of Steve Torrence? I mean, this guy is absolutely the most dominant driver, over the last 3 seasons in any NHRA division. And, he's the first to give this young gun a high five and say, hey, man, props to you, buddy. You took me down.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the coolest things about the NHRA, Jim, is all of these drivers, there seems to be such a great rapport in the paddock. And, I mean, there are different racing series where sometimes I actually feel like that can be a detriment, where if guys are too buddy-buddy off the track, you don't have enough rivalries. But just the sheer power, I mean, we're talking cars with 10,000 horsepower. We're talking cars that go 300 miles an hour. It doesn't matter how friendly you are off the track. You're still doing one of the most intensive forms of racing that you can possibly do. So it's great to see everybody in that paddock there's such a tight-knit community. And, like you said, Steve Torrence, one of the first guys to be out there congratulating Austin Prock on that victory. I'm sure Steve-O remembers his first. I'm sure that Antron Brown remembers his first. I'm sure that, even Austin's team owner, John Force, remembers his first. And I know that his first victory has probably gotten a little bit of conversation recently as well for something that we will get to in a little while.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're on the same page as far as Mr. Force goes this week. I'm sure everybody in the industry is, but I guess moving on to number 2, Chris, who'd you have slotted in at number 2?
Well, Jim, my number 2, that's where I've got Chase Elliott. Like you said, a dominant victory at Watkins Glen, leading almost the entire race, winning from the pole. His second victory at Watkins Glen in a row, the anniversary of that long-awaited first win that he finally got. And I admit I've never been the biggest Chase Elliott fan, only because I hate to see a guy who's that good and that talented beat himself up that much. And that was something that was really prevalent, I felt, in Chase's first few years as a driver. Things out of his control would happen. Somebody would just have that much faster of a car. And it seemed like he got in his own head quite a bit. And that first victory at Watkins Glen last year really seemed to take that weight off his shoulders. And now he's becoming that driver that everybody's always kind of had him pegged to be. And of course, when you're the son of Bill Elliott, you're probably gonna win quite a few Most Popular Driver awards anyway, especially now that your former boss Dale Earnhardt Jr. isn't running at the Cup level anymore. But just great to see Chase Elliott take another checkered flag. And the thing that really impresses me about these NASCAR guys is how proficient a lot of them have gotten at road course racing. I mean, second place Martin Truex Jr. has really been the king of the road courses over the past couple of years, and just couldn't find a way around Chase Elliott this year. But I remember growing up as a kid, you'd have guys get booted out of their seats in favor of different drivers. Tommy Kendall making starts, Scott Pruitt making starts, Boris Said, definitely. All the Said heads out there. And that was a surefire way for a team that needed to get back in the top 35 in points or something. That was a surefire way for them to land some great points on the weekend and try to solidify themselves and their regular driver into the show the following weeks. But, the Cup guys have really gotten good at road courses over the years. And you've got guys who you would never, if you just thought about them, without context, you wouldn't expect a guy like Clint Boyer, coming from Kansas to be this road course ace, but Clint Boyer's always pretty strong on the road courses as an example. I mean, these guys really take it seriously. They really drive their butts off. It's a big part of the reason why I think everybody wants to see more road courses on the NASCAR schedule. And once we get through the final year of all of the race contracts in 2020, I think you're going to see a couple more. And I think the drivers, guys like Truex, guys like Boyer, guys like Chase Elliott, I think those guys are all going to eat that up.
Yeah, well, and that's, conversation for another day, but I could honestly see, NASCAR moving, to 5 or 6 road courses a year. And, I mean, like we've talked about in the past, just amazing venues. I mean, you look back in NASCAR history, road courses have always been there. I mean, Riverside International Raceway, anybody? You off-road fans, you know exactly where I'm talking about. But, I could see, places like Circuit of the Americas if they could figure out the contract. And, like we've talked about, there's amazing venues, Mid-Ohio, Road America, just some beautiful, beautiful tracks and facilities. Road Atlanta's another one. Around this country. And, why not, even let them run the road course at Daytona? How special would that be? Indy, the road course. I've always said Brickyard's it's crickets when NASCAR goes there. Nobody in Indy supports it. Let them run the road course. Maybe people turn out, try something different. So maybe alternate years. 1 year it's the Brickyard road course. 1 year it's the actual oval. I don't know, man, but I think, fans would, definitely jump at NASCAR doing that. Ratings for NASCAR road courses are always higher than just your traditional ovals at, say, Darlington or someplace like that, or Richmond, So, I don't know, it's something special. I could see NASCAR doing a little bit more of it. Just less rovals, more actual road courses. But, I guess we're going to run short on time if I don't get to my number 2. So yours was Chase Elliott. My number 2, I'm going to go to X Games. Had to throw somebody from X Games. Most viral moment of X Games, I guess one was Mitchie Brusco pulling a 1260 on a skateboard. Can't do that because it doesn't have an engine. But I do have to go to David Ronaldo, who just about every single person in the industry was sharing his video. Being innovative in X Games on a dirt bike has become very, very hard because guys like Deegan and Pastrana push the limit so far when they were doing it. And, and it's really, it's got to be variations of backflips and things like that. Ronaldo pulled out something called the Malachi roll. He'd never done it except into a foam pit. Nobody had ever seen it before. What it was a backflip body of varial 360. So when he was upside down, he literally jumped off the motorcycle, spun his body a full 360 degrees, landed back on the dirt bike, then landed it. And just to watch the videos that everybody's sharing, I don't even think at the time when he did it at X Games anybody even knew what it was. Like, it was crazy. And for those reasons, I'm going to X Games. I got Ronaldo on my list at number 2 because he pulled something that I think a lot of people thought absolutely impossible. Nobody had ever done it before. And it wasn't like he added a no-handed land or something. I mean, he literally innovated up the game. So David Ronaldo, number 2 on my list.
Man, Jim, I remember exactly where I was, exactly what I was doing about 20 years ago when Kerry Hart attempted that first backflip in competition. And, I think he landed it after the buzzer had gone, so it didn't count. But I remember the second that first backflip that somebody wrote out of one, that the gates just opened on freestyle motocross. And you're right, it's hard to innovate now. And part of that comes down to the fact that you can only build the ramps so big. And part of that comes down to the fact that, we're kind of reaching the limits of human potential on some things. So for a guy like David Ronaldo to be able to pull a trick like that out at a venue like that at Minneapolis, and, a lot of people said, I think that these were the most innovative X Games in years, and I agree with them. Between Ronaldo, between Mitchie Brusco, some of the BMX runs, especially in big air, were awesome. Awesome to watch. But yeah, to have a guy pull out a trick like that people didn't even know what to make of it after that happened, it was just such a beautiful throwback to, the days when action sports were still just exploding, and, Nitro Circus was still just a little video series instead of a stadium tour, and X Games was just getting to Los Angeles. I mean, it's always cool to have that moment. And I feel like in action sports, we chase that over and over and over again, and they seem to happen, less and less often. So to actually have somebody be able to do that again at X Games is just a truly special moment.
Yeah. So we got about a minute and a half left. I don't want to cut Mr. Force short, but I'm assuming you and I both at number one. We've got John freaking Force, victory number 150 at number one, right, Chris?
Oh, we sure do, Jim. I mean, back when I was at New England Nationals in July, I was hoping maybe this will be the weekend. How special would it be to be able to be at the track for when John Force gets 150? And I am jealous of all those fans that were in the stands, that saw John Force do his best Helio Castro Neves impression, trying to climb over the
and fence. Cussing on national TV, I might add. I don't know if you saw those clips, but he's the one guy that can get away with it.
I certainly did. I don't know if the FCC is John Force's, if they're John Force's biggest fans right now, because I know we got a little bit of that as well, but I think the best tweet that I saw somebody write congratulating him over the weekend was, one doesn't meet John Force, one experiences John Force. And I think the celebration out in Washington must have lived up to that.
More after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome somebody who is pretty regular on the show, like every single freaking week, Tiffany Stone. Welcome, T-Stone. I hear you are melting in Texas, completely hating life, stuck in a convenience center, but you're going to school. You're getting trained by Toyota. What the hell is going on?
Okay, so pretty much just obviously I've been in automotive for a while and starting something new, joined the Lexus team, so I'll be out and about with some of the Lexus team for some auto shows, IMSA racing, different events like that, so pretty excited. And yeah, just hanging out at a Toyota Motor North America, so we're at the headquarters here in Plano, and just kind of getting a feel, checking out some new vehicles. Got to drive the LC today, so that was pretty awesome. And yeah, just hanging out, learning a bunch of new stuff.
So life doesn't necessarily suck if you're actually just driving Lexuses for the day. Like, I could think of a lot worse things to be doing.
No, exactly. And it's kind of cool. We did, the 0 to 60 and a bunch of the different vehicles, obviously the LC at their little checkered road track type deal that they have there. So it's nice to be able to check out some of these things, check out some of the brand new products that's coming out. And, obviously I love horsepower, so it's kind of nice to have a little break, but still be involved in automotive and motorsports.
Yeah, you want to know a crazy stat? Like, as much as I travel, you and I mean, we crisscross the country all year, every year. One of the few states I haven't been to is actually Texas, of all places. Never been to Texas. No joke.
It's just literally 2 states east of you. You could probably drive there in a day, Jim.
Yeah, no, that's what's funny. Texas and Florida, like most people, if they think, what states has Jimmy been to? Like Texas and Florida are going to be like the top 2 states. Those are actually 2 that I've never been to. And like to me, that's weird. Like, because you would think in motorsport and everything else, those would be 2 states. Nope, haven't been to either one of them. Crazy. You got to have a couple states like that, though, right? That you've just never been to, and it's probably just odd, right?
Actually, no, not anymore. Not since I started the stuff with ARA and Stage Rally, because I made my journey out to the Pacific Northwest this year and to the New England area, so New Hampshire, Maine, and all that, which I've done, but gotten a little bit more rural, of course, and stuff like that. But I think the only state that I haven't been to is maybe Vermont.
Vermont.
And Hawaii and Alaska.
Yeah. Well, that's something about Hawaii. Like, we need to get some motorsports going on in Hawaii. Like, I'm just saying, like, even just like motocross or UTV racing, they need to get motorsports in Hawaii, and they need to invite Jim Beaver and T-Stone to call the races. I'm just saying, like, that needs to happen. Like, they need a full-time series there, and we just need to transplant to Hawaii or something like that. And they need to pay us like 7 figures a year to call the races in Hawaii. Like, I'm just saying, putting it out there.
And that's the thing, though, Jim. As long as we put it out there, it could possibly come back to us.
Right. UTV series and motocross in Hawaii, and they need to pay us 7 figures a year. Done. We need some rich guy in Hawaii who listens to the show, which is not happening, to really run with this idea. So, rich uncle that lives in Hawaii, run with this. Please, T-Stone and I are waiting. So yeah.
We are waiting for our job offers.
Yeah, right. Oh, so yeah. So you're in Texas. I know I'm headed to Bark River here in a few days. I know that one. That's one of my favorite events of the year. I didn't want to hesitate there, and I don't know why I hesitated, but like legitimately, that track and Crandon are like the iconic Midwest short course venues. Like to me, those ones stand out, and it's just like pure. Like, that's when you think of Midwest short course, like you think of Crandon, you think of Bark River, and like, I don't know, that track's so unique. Like, it's one of my favorites to go to every year. Like, I don't know, like I'm stoked, T-Stone.
I'm jealous for one to start off with. I do like it, especially because I just get to drive up through the UP. It's beautiful, to begin with. There's that amazing restaurant that we saw, and what the greatest thing that I love about that track is just that big jump that you get to see, especially right where the spotters are standing, and you'll be able, there's that VIP area that they have too, which I just think is kind of cool because you get to see some of the best trucks and the UTVs and buggies just hit that jump. And, my first year I saw CJ just fly past it, and they did like where it was like 50 feet, 100 feet, 150. And I think CJ surpassed like 200 feet at one jump, one of the laps that he did.
Yeah. And that's one thing I will say about Midwest short course. And this isn't a knock on the West Coast, but I guess it is. And I'm probably sure I'll get called into the principal's office over this, but I don't care. I feel like the West Coast has kind of dumbed down their jumps a little bit. I know like at Reno and back when they used to run Lake Elsinore, like they were major hucks. And like I feel like they've tamed them down a little bit, and trucks aren't jumping near as far and as high and things like that. And tracks are probably racier because of it. But I feel like the Midwest, they're like, hell no, we are not going to make our jumps any easier. And it's still full on huck. It's like, and that's one thing I can appreciate about Bark River. ERX has got some huckers, and then and then Crandon, obviously they've got that big jump going into that hairpin. What do they call it? The Polaris RZR jump coming out of the gravel pit. But like Midwest short course, man, they got no problem having trucks and buggies send it.
No, and that's the thing is, like, I don't have that to compare to. I haven't really been to any of the tracks out West Coast, so maybe next year we'll get into some more of that. But I'm just looking forward to it. And the only thing I'm not jealous about, though, Jim, is how humid it is going to be up there for you. So that's the only thing, and it's just a great track. I like the people. I love the fans. And I'm not sure if they're doing it anymore, but I used to love when the trucks would come up to the podium, up at the top where all the stands and the bleachers are, where people could be able to check out the trucks and stuff. I don't think they do that anymore, but that was my favorite part about Bark River.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know how they're doing it. From what I understand, things have shifted or changed a little bit with the way they're running things behind the scenes. But you'll probably get blown up with text when I get there or something like that. But I have no idea how they're doing it. But it's cool. It's just a feel good vibe. I know last year, what was it? The Vision Wheel guys, they went to the haunted hotel and like bats attacked him in the middle of the night. No joke. Like, I don't know. There's just so much rad stuff that happens in Bark River. It's just one of those, like, just a small town, Escanaba, Bark River, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, Tiff. It's just kind of there, but it's rad, you know?
No, it is. It's really cool. They have some random, awesome restaurants. The Stone House. Is it called the Stone House? The one that's right there on the corner. They have really good steaks there. And I remember I tried to take you there one night, but it was closed. So you have to probably go on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, and I know, like, Sunday last year, it was like ghost town trying to find someplace to eat. Like, everything shuts down. And one thing that I do know about Crandon, which we're both going to the end of the month, nothing shuts down on Sunday night, man. Group therapy, ducks, everything is firing on all cylinders when races wrap up Sunday night at Crandon. So, I don't know, maybe Bark River Escanaba can take a cue from Crandon, because I feel like the hours get extended on Sunday night at Crandon.
They do. We do sleeveless Sundays. We have the barn party. This year, I know it's not Sunday, but this year Kid Rock's coming and stuff like that. So maybe Bark River should be like, hey, let's open up and just have a kick-ass party. But they do their parties and their concerts on that Friday and Saturday, too.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, and I was looking at the schedule, Bark River. They adjusted things a little bit. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. They run 3 races on Saturday night or on Friday night, so it kind of opens things up. People can kind of go and have a few drinks, enjoy some racing. Saturday's a full day with all the divisions. And then Sunday, those 3 divisions that raced on Friday night don't race on Sunday, so things kind of wrap up early on Sunday. You know, they're done by 5. People can go home and doesn't keep them real late on a Sunday night. So I can appreciate the way Bark River does things. I will say, too, Crandon, it's a 3-day weekend with Labor Day, so they can keep things running late into the night on Sunday because everybody's got Monday for the hangover.
Exactly, and another thing I'm excited about Crandon is one of our favorite people, Kate Osborne, will be there. So it'll be cool to be able to have, you know, Kate and myself back together, and I've done 2 seasons of short course without her, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I haven't seen Katie. It's funny, you call her Kate, I call her Katie, but I haven't seen Katie. Her and I text pretty regular, but I haven't actually seen her in the flesh in probably a little over a year, maybe 14, 15 months maybe. So, yeah, it'll be fun to see her. I haven't seen her in a long, long time. So should be fun, man. I can't wait. I forgot about that. She's coming back there. I know Cameron Steele, he's going to be back there. He's another TV personality. They're doing some of the stuff with Red Bull, and he's never been to Crandon. And here's a off-road Hall of Famer who's never been to Crandon. And I know my dad, all he can talk about is we got his tickets booked the other day, and you know, all he can talk about is going to Crandon. So I'm sure we got another Jeep trip ahead of us, right, Tiff?
I will. I'll have my Jeep out there. I'm actually driving it up to the Ojibwe race in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, the weekend before for ARA. So I'm going to go do that, and then in between, I'm making a stop at AMSOIL's headquarters and stuff to kind of go tour that and see everything what Team AMSOIL is up to, and then from there go straight to Crandon.
Yeah, Detroit Lakes, one of my favorite rallies of the year. I told you that. They do that amazing street stage where they shut stuff down, like in downtown Detroit Lakes, and it's like right there on the lake. They've got this white sand beach. You would think you were in California. You wouldn't actually think you're in Minnesota. but they run rally cars like all full on like an IndyCar race, like you would see at the Detroit GP. But it's like rally cars downtown Detroit Lakes, just shredding it through the streets, like throwing it sideways. Like it is so awesome. They've got Zorba's there right on the lake. Like they've got the bands and the concerts rolling, and like that's one of my favorite events of the year as far as stage rally goes, just because like the finale there at to end things is just like epic.
It's awesome. And you were right, too, about the New England one. It was pretty awesome having it there at Sunday River, having all the cars there, the big party, the champagne, the stage, everything. So it was good. We're going to have to figure out how we're still going to go to Dirtfish soon. So you and I still need to figure that one out.
Yeah, I know. I gotta talk with them and see. I know we talked about going up there, and I know the cool thing about Seattle and Dirtfish, like I've been there all times of the year, and there's not like a bad time to go, so which is kind of cool. So maybe something at the end of this year to kick off next year. But now that you're like fully immersed in the rally world and stuff like that, would be rad to get you behind the wheel of a rally car at some point. So I don't know. We got I got Vegas to Reno thrown in, so I feel like the next 3 or 4 weeks, man, August for some odd reason is a slam pack month.
No, it is. And then, obviously, Jim, in September, we are storming Area 51 with the 1.5 million people that are storming it. So September is going to be very busy for us.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to go off air after September 20th because Tiff and I are either going to be kidnapped by aliens and taken to outer space, or we're going to be thrown in prison or shot by the military, one of the two. So pretty sure after September 20th, don't count on radio anymore. We will be off the air because, we're going to be incapacitated one way or another, either by aliens or the military.
And the best part, though, Jim, is we talked about that for 20 minutes.
That is. Actually, remember the show graphic for that week? I actually put an alien instead of a person's head for the show graphic. There was an alien head there, and it just said aliens with a question mark. So, yes, we have officially spent a show talking about aliens at one point. So, you never never quite know what the hell's going to happen on this show. No, you do not whatsoever. So, I don't know, Tiff, man. That's you got anything else exciting? I know you're sitting in a hotel room probably ready to crash for the day just because you've been working all day. But, always fun catching up, Tiff.
It is. Yeah, just doing this, and then following 2 weeks, I'm going to head out for the ARA stuff and then meet you in Crandon.
Yeah, I know it's going to be weird going to a desert race, Vegas to Reno, and you're not going to be there. That one's kind of odd. You've made most of the big desert races this year, so Vegas to Reno is like one of the odd ones you're actually missing. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is weird, and missing Bark River. So I missed like ERX. ERX was the first time I missed in 5 years this year. So it was weird, but it's kind of good. It's always great to have Haley and Speed Shift and have that out there too. So it's good because no matter what, you're still going to have great coverage from one of the short course races. So whether it's myself, whether it's Haley, whether it's Kate Osborne, it's just going to be a good time.
Yeah, definitely going to be a good time. We will have a good time in Crandon for sure. And we'll have to catch up again next week as we get fired up for, I guess, this crazy month of August we got coming up, Tiff.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Wrapping up another edition of your favorite motorsports radio show right here, the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Want to ask you guys once again, please head over to iTunes, hit that subscribe button, and hit us up, and that lets us know you like us. Please leave a rating and review to the show. Much appreciated for everybody who does. You're going to get both the off-road edition, brought to you by our good friends at Full Parts, and this show when you do that. Also, check out Project Action on Podcast One. Subscribe to that as well. I'm at Jim Beaver 15 on all forms of social media. And got to give a shout out to all our amazing partners, Polaris RZR, General Tire, our good friends at 4 Wheel Parts. And don't forget, they've got that amazing program going on right now. This weekend at all the 4 Wheel Parts places nationwide, and it's called the Endless Summer. And use that hashtag 4 Wheel Parts Endless Summer, 4WP Endless Summer. It's happening on August 10th, one day only. 92 4 Wheel Parts stores nationwide. Spend more, save more. Every $1,000 you spend, you're going to get $100 back. They're going to have vehicles on display, fun for the whole family, athletes, race vehicles, doorbuster specials, and if you can't get there in person, check out 4WP.com. And big shout out to MyMedic. Use the coupon code JimBeaver, 15% off at MyMedic.com. At Dirtfish, it is Down Dirty DF. That'll get you 15% off at Dirtfish. Vision Wheel, Gibson Exhaust, and Super ATV for coming on board. Got to give a big shout out to them, our good friends at Impact Racing, and everybody else who supports the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We couldn't do it without you. Don't forget, I'll be at Bark River this weekend hosting the live stream. Tune in to that as well. And we're going to sign off this week on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Be safe, and we'll see you next week right here on your favorite motorsports radio show.